I just spent $500 on fake fragrance from TEMU. So 3 years ago, I made one of the dumbest purchases I've ever made. Fake fragrances from TEMU. Others smelled like industrial cleaner, and one was so bad, it nearly took my life. But since then, TEMU has exploded. So today, we're gonna find out whether these fake fragrances have gotten any better. Or have I just wasted another $500? Starting with TEMU's take on Stronger With You Intensely, this one is Stronger Together Intensely. I mean, it's practically the same thing, right? I don't think so. Now, Stronger With You Intensely is known to be a staple in the market, and Stronger Together is not. Now, Stronger Together Intensely looks like it's trying its best to mimic the look, and if you're not in the game, you might be confused. But let me tell you, it's not the same. But let's see what this thing smells like. Looking, the atomizer on these little TEMU fragrances ain't bad at all. Now, Stronger With You Intensely is known to be warm, cozy, and this one, not so much. This one is more green with a little bit of chestnut. Now, I would be lying if I said that this smelled horrible, but it doesn't smell great. I think if Amouage was looking to release Stronger With You Earth, this would be the jam. But since it's not, we're moving on. Next, we got a fragrance that claims to be Rasasi Hawa for him Flame, but the presentation looks like it's seen better days. Now at the top of the box it says Secret Plus. Now the bottle itself kinda looks like it's been through a snowstorm. That's because so much cardboard has peeled off on it. But let's see if this thing is any good. 3. Alright. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Man, off the rip, this one smells pretty good. It's a cinnamon take. It starts a bit fresh and then it kind of transitions into something a little spicy. Let's just say it feels a little more fiery than the rest. Now, despite what the presentation looks like and the sprays here, it's not doing the TEMU backbend, which lets me know that this one's different, or the TEMU get better. Now, in addition to the warmth, it does feel like there's some leather here, and so far, the staying power is better than most TEMU scents. Now, before you begin to think that this is legit, just know that this is Hawaii for him, not Hawas. But hey, that ain't bad. In addition to the last 2 fragrances we discussed, I bought some of the highest rated fake versions of niche scents we all love. I'm talking about brands like Memo Paris, Amouage, and I even picked up a fake Mason Crivelli. And some of these look pretty legit. But before we get to these, let's talk about this. Now, just looking at this, knowing that Mason Crivelli is not quite this, we know we might be in for something. Now, first of all, if you never experienced a Mason Crivelli fragrance, just know that this is a dead giveaway. No way that a high-end fragrance should move around the box like that. Now, by the name, I would expect that this is their recreation or clone or interpretation of Oud Majnoon. Instead, we got Oud Majnoon. Now, clearly, looking at this looks nothing like a Mason Crivelli, but something tells me people might still get got. Now, a few things here. This bottle does feel good in hand. I guess if you were just looking at it by itself, it could look interesting enough, given that it's clean free of all its dust. Let's see what this thing does, though. Okay, this smells less like oud and more like a natural patchouli. Now consider this. Although my hand has a slight burn to it, my nose has not yet melted off, which means there's still hope. And my hope is that you never pick this fragrance up. As I mentioned, on first spray, it does feel like a natural patchouli, and underneath of that, there's something that's a little bit more dark, a little more resinous, but it's not quite Oud Majnoon. Now, if you were just looking at this by the presentation, you might think that this is a woody aquatic scent, and let me tell you that it is not. The longevity on this fragrance is pretty much not there, because after you spray this, in just a few minutes it begins to disappear, and what it's replaced with is this throbbing sensation in my head. Why do I do this? Now, the next fragrance we have here is allegedly from Memo Paris. I sometimes like to call them Memo. And the fragrance here that we have is Marfa. Now, this does feel good in hand. It looks super legit. It even has the little sticky things to keep it in place. Inside the box, it says the journey is the destination. And it also has a map. Now, this bottle came like 80% full, which is a problem. No. Oh no. It smells like cat piss mixed with Hawaiian punch. There's a bunch of eyes on here looking at me. Smell is nonsense. No, this is terrible. Why would anybody want this? I mean, I guess no one wants this and just be tricked into it. Now, underneath that cat piss and that Hawaiian punch, oh, no, there's like some grass that's coming up. Guess you could call it earthy. This is not good. But I keep going back to it. My eyes are beginning to burn here, so I'm gonna pass on this one and tell you not to pick it up. Oddly enough, they have a bunch of eyes on it. Now, before we move on and talk about the other fragrances, let's talk about one that's clearly a clone. This is Clone Scents with a K. The ingredients, musk, and an anti-discoloration agent. Okay, if you say so, my guy. I believe you. This is called Bart Oud. And the bottle looks like a little fake Louis Vuitton bottle. So let's see if it smells like one. Inside of this bottle, there's some things floating around. Looks like just a few particles. I don't see any bugs here, just some particles of something. The atomizer is crazy. It stings the nostrils. All right, so on first spray, it stung the nostrils, but nothing here smells out of place. Now, it's called Bart Oud, but it doesn't smell like oud, nor does it smell like dog water. In fact, I would say that this is more citrusy, a little bit more floral. I'm saying a little bit more floral, like it's compared to something. All in, despite its presentation and what it looks like on the inside, this is not a bad scent. In fact, if you were to walk past most people wearing this fragrance, I don't think that they would think you smell bad. In fact, they might think to themselves that they smell nice. I don't think it's strong enough to want a compliment, but I don't think you would get anyone turning their nose up at you. Now, this is claiming to be an eau de parfum, so it should be a little richer than what an EDT version of this would be, and I'm not sure if it comes off like that much richer than what I assume an EDT version would be. At any rate, if you were going to chance this fragrance, you could probably do it for you and your spouse, because it has just enough florals in it to feel like something a lady can wear, but it's also still smooth enough in a way that I feel like a man could wear this. Okay, clone? Good job. Moving on, we got the highest quality blend fragrance here. How do I know? It says it on the box. Highest quality blend. And this is Mouage. Has a QR code on the back telling me to scan it. I will not. Now, the name of this fragrance is Appini, and I think that is what made me pick this one up. It says it's fruity fresh. All right, well, okay, looks nice. All right, the green, lime green here, kind of like a Killian-esque bottle. It feels good and heavy in hand. Listen to that. Listen to that, yeah. All right, let's see what we got here. Tea back bin? Nope, standing strong. Oh, that's good. Oh, this kind of reminds me of apple brandy. This is good. It is fresh, and then I immediately got some of that boozy feel. This ain't bad now. Man, I don't have a official version of this to compare it to, but what I'm getting here in terms of how the bottle feels in hand, presentation was a little whack, but this smells pretty good. So far, out of all the fragrances that we've smelled, this one has the strongest output. But here's what I'll say. Although it has that apple brandy feel, this one is more like on the rocks. It feels fresher. It feels a little less alcohol-y in terms of it being like you just got finished drinking a whole bottle of booze, but it's still there. And as some of that initial blast of that boozy and fresh apple begins to go away, it begins to remind me of something. It's like the undertone here kind of pulls more into Sedley, which makes sense because of the apple. This TEMU Appini Paris Corner fragrance is by far the best one we've smelled yet, and I think this one could be legit. But here's what I don't think is legit, and this is Better World Fragrance House Summer Mink. Now, we've tried this fragrance before from TEMU, and it looked good and felt good and even smelled fairly similar. But unless Drake has some serious control issues going on, this thing is a faker. It looks legit. You got the little rag to keep it in place, the cloth to keep it in place and not scratch the bottle. Summer Mink, this prominently displayed on the front. Better World Fragrance House, spelled correctly. It looks legit. Looks like the real thing. Listen, it looks legit. Smells really close. This one feels a little bit more spicy, backed with some mint. It's smooth, and that's what I liked about Drake's actual scent, is that it is smooth. And the reason why I'm saying it that way is because of this price point, I'm going to believe that this is not the real thing. If it is, we're getting hosed. As is, I would wear this fragrance to the office. I would wear it at my house. I would wear it on a boat. I would wear it by myself on a moat. It kind of smells like the real thing. Like, it feels like a fragrance that is another unisex scent. Instead of being a fragrance that people would run away from, this is one that they might gravitate towards. And in smelling this is where the game gets tricky, because it looks legit, it feels legit, it smells legit, and I would imagine that they might have taken their time to really just go through and copy like the fragrance batch codes from the real thing, which then makes it even more tricky. Now, if I had to kind of just criticize it on anything, the bottom of the box here where all the verbiage is kind of hard to see. It's not done super well, but outside of that, it would be hard to tell, which is more reason for you to be careful when you're picking up fragrances from these sites like TEMU and or some of these sites where you are just getting fragrances from people who might be looking to sell their collection. All in, not bad, TEMU. Now, if I think back to the original video, by this point, I might have been coughing my lungs up. But now, these fragrances are a lot better. But that doesn't mean that it's better for you. I can still drop dead at any moment. So, let's continue. This fragrance here is supposed to be from French Avenue, and this one is called Spectre Wraith. What I find interesting about that is I like Rolls Royce. And if you have not tried a Spectre or Wraith, you should look into a Rolls Royce. What's up here? The presentation on this looks pretty good. Gotta scratch, scan, and verify. I'm not scanning any. Let's spray, shall we? Oh, right out the break. This one is primed and ready to go. Oh, this is good. This smells so familiar. Oh man, this is really. What does this smell like? What did this remind me of?
I don't know.
It's coming to me now. This reminds me of like Black Phantom. This smells like Black Phantom, but a lighter version. It's a little sweet. It's less almond than you would get in Black Phantom, and it's a lot brighter. Now, here's what I'll say. Black Phantom is known for being smooth, kind of still aggressive in your face. This fragrance here is like laid back. This is one of those ones that plays the corner. Listen, walk in a club. Guys in a dark, shadowy place. In the corner, you walk by and say, okay, that guy knows what he's doing. That's this one. But Black Phantom, he walks in the club and it just opens up for him, okay? Everyone's looking and says, that guy, I want to be that guy. Now, I find it interesting because the original Black Phantom, it released with the skull on the box, the presentation, a skull on the cover. And this one has a bullet. So if you get hit with the bullet, you're going to turn into a skull. Listen, I'm not mad at this one. I'm not mad at it. If I'm mad at anything, it's the longevity on this one. It does not smell like it's going to last very long. I've sprayed this a couple of times now to kind of get that opening feel back, because that's what I want in this scent. And then the final fragrance that we have here is Amouage Luster. Now, this fragrance here just kind of embodies everything that you would think a brand like TEMU would have. Like, you would have a clone or a recreation of something, knockoff, whatever you would call it, or possibly the real deal of a fragrance. And this is like the top tier presentation presentation. Now, the last time that I got an unwashed fragrance from them, I could not tell the difference. It was like very, very close, which makes it that much more scary. And this fragrance cost me just $19. Talk about something insane. And this is where it gets tricky. If you were doing an exchange with someone, or someone was trying to sell you a bottle or something at 19 bucks and they charged you, let's say $200 or $250 for it, you might think you're getting a deal, but instead, like, you're getting like just hosed. And everything here looks legit. Even the bottom of this kind of just shows like that reflection here. Is it worth anything? Now, if you know anything about Luster, then you know that it's a amber. Ooh, oh, that's good. Man, Luster is like an amber scent. They get some sandalwood here. In fact, it gives you all the notes here on the back here, right? So it says cardamom, orris, patchouli, sandalwood, cedarwood, benzoin, lavender, vanilla, amber, cypriol, styrax, tonka, myrrh, all the things. And this just smells so incredibly good. Every time I get an unwashed fragrance for them, I'm like, is this somehow real? Because it smells official. Like, the presentation looks really good. Everything about it almost looks like it's set and legit. Here's the way it kind of stands out. The lines on the bottle here are a little bit more pronounced than you would get on the real thing. Magnet, atomizer, pressurized. It smells high quality, and you're gonna save yourself 480 bucks. It's kind of hard to say like you should not do this, but you should not, okay? It has that traditional type of unwashed feel to it. It feels very resinous. It feels like kind of just grown and sexy, what you get with this type of fragrance. And then like, it doesn't feel like body odorish. Like sometimes like some of the fragrances, if they're a little bit too strong with Coolman or something like that, it feels like an underarm feel, but not with this. Here you get resins, you get wood, you get something that's slightly sweet. The amber within this fragrance is pronounced. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting here. Now, in terms of what the performance is, I'm not sure. Now, unwashed fragrances, at least the ones that I have in my collection, perform really, really well. And that is a plus when it comes down to the fragrance game, because so many fragrances these days don't last as long as you might expect. But this one here does exactly what it's supposed to do. Here's the deal, man. Their unwashed fragrances that I've picked up from TEMU have always smelled like it could be the legit thing. The only thing I could think of is that someone knocked off a truck of unwashed fragrances and decided that they were going to offload them like Walmart, stack them deep, sell them cheap. So out of this round of fragrances that we picked up from TEMU, this Amouage Luster is by far the best, followed by this Paris Corner, which is interesting. So if you were looking to try TEMU fragrances, then I'll leave some links down below in case that's what you want to do. But I would tell you proceed with caution because it's a gamble. That's all I got for y'all today. Make sure you check out this one here because these fragrances have come a long way.